Okay, well, good morning, everybody. Appreciate you joining us here on this Tuesday morning. We have a little bit of a lighter agenda today. We do have our friend Gary Jones from Governor Whitmer's office who will provide a state update. Next week, we will have our state representative, Ben Frederick, on as well. He will be giving an update on what's happening in the legislative branch in Lansing. But we would like to hear from all of you as far as what topics you would like to hear in coming weeks. We've had obviously great participation from our state and federal officials over the last weeks and months, disseminated a lot of information on the different state and federal programs that are out there, vaccines, whatnot, labor law questions. So we want to make sure we're being respectful of what you want to hear about. So I'm going to be sending out an email asking for input. If there's anybody that we've not had on these calls, or if there's somebody you'd like to hear from again, we want to make sure that we're creating a very useful time experience here for you. So with that, I just want to hit a couple of highlights before we turn it over to Gary. Actually, a number of items related to upcoming events. But the first thing I wanted to touch on certainly are the vaccines. That's usually the first thing that we discuss. I do not believe we have anyone from Memorial or the health department on today. But the story right now, and this is sort of a trend statewide and nationwide, is we are getting more vaccines. The rush to participate is sort of slowed down. Now it's an effort to try to get people that have not gotten it yet. So one of the things that's happening right now with the health department is they are working on employer clinics. So this would be where the health department, possibly some other partners, would be on site at companies providing the vaccine. So I talked to a number of businesses last week about this. A number of our larger businesses, larger factories, expressed interest in hosting this for their workers, with the idea being that if a clinic can be held on site, it might make it easier, might make it more likely that someone would participate in the vaccination process. So all that being said, if your company is interested in hosting an on-site clinic, if you think you have enough people that work at your place of business, please definitely connect with the health department. I'm sure they'd be happy to work with you, and we can help you make that connection as well. But they'd be happy to work with you on setting that up. And if you have any questions on any of the vaccines, please let me know. We'll definitely get you in touch with the appropriate people. I did want to highlight a number of different events that'll be coming up, and you'll be getting emails on all these. In fact, you might have gotten some emails already. Some of them are already set up. But tomorrow morning, this is a big one, 9:30 tomorrow, half-hour meeting, webinar. The Michigan District SBA, Small Business Administration, is going to host a quick info session on the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. So this is a $28.6 billion pot of money from the SBA to help restaurants. So any of you in the restaurant industry, if you know any restaurants, it's not just restaurants, it's also bakeries. It's a number of different food businesses. If you know anybody in that arena, they're definitely going to want to participate tomorrow, 9:30. It's a 30-minute webinar. Hopefully the time works. It's sort of after breakfast, before lunch. Hopefully that'll be something that'll be well attended, because I'm hoping many of our Shiawassee restaurant businesses will participate in that. A couple of other SBA items as well. We've shared this information. The Shuttered Venue Operators Grant has reopened. That actually reopened yesterday. That would be for things like theaters. I know we have a few qualifying applicants. So that one is reopened for application. And also another item came out that we're just learning about. It is an EIDL Extra Advance. So many of you got the EIDL loan, you got an advance that went with it up to $10,000. Well, apparently there's another advance on top of that. I don't think you need to do anything. All the communication I've seen is if you've gotten it already, they would be in touch with you if you qualify for this extra. So stay tuned on that. That's just another potential funding source that's out there. Couple of other items. Next week on the 5th, this is going to be interesting. Going to be a webinar on childcare. It's actually going to be at night. It's a 7 o'clock webinar. Actually going to send out a save the date here later today. What this is, some of you remember we talked about doing a community assessment regarding childcare needs, and that has been completed, and we want to release the results of that. But also, there is a free consultation service that's being made available by our friends at the Small Business Development Center for child care providers to be able to get assistance with business planning, financial modeling in trying to offer and expand their services of childcare. This is a huge issue. I think we all know it's a big issue. I think it's maybe even bigger than some people realize. The lack of availability and affordability of childcare is hampering the ability for companies to have workers because they have to be home taking care of their kids. So anyway, we want to reveal the results of this assessment. We want to talk about these services. And the ultimate end goal here is I do believe there's an opportunity for employers to participate more in child care benefit offerings. And I don't want to get into it too much today, but I really think there's some real potential there. There's actually some tax advantages to it as well. So more to come, but that's going to be held next week. It's actually going to be on May 5th at 7 p.m. So look for an email invitation or save the date here, probably yet today. And then the last event that I wanted to mention, and actually, I don't know, Greg Klapko, are you on the call today? You're usually on. I don't know if he's here or not. Oh, good. Hey, Greg, I wonder, maybe I'll have you jump on here. Can you talk about this employee health and wellness meeting we're going to have here in a few weeks? Do you want to discuss that a little bit with Covenant Eyes?
Yeah, sure. I was approached by Covenant Eyes to put together a group, kind of a health and wellness group, and we're going to meet here, kind of our first meeting, an introductory type meeting to kind of lay the parameters of what a health and wellness group might look like. And that would include, obviously, as we normally think, health and wellness, but also not only the physical aspects, but also the mental and financial aspects as we look at health and wellness. So looking forward to that conversation. Covenant Eyes has kind of driven it again, and then also, but we're going to have some friends at Fifth Third Bank, of course, Justin and myself, but also Becky Dalkey from Memorial Healthcare and Laura Archer from the Y. So kind of a nice group that we're putting together, and we hope to share more information in the future regarding this group.
Awesome. Thank you, Greg. And actually, while we're at it, mentioned the Covenant Eyes too, we are going to be scheduling another session of our business model canvas as well. Do you want to touch on that real quick?
Sure, yeah. Looking forward to that one also. This will be the 2.0 version that our friends at Covenant Eyes and Brian DeLorge will be putting on. We've had a number of folks go through this introductory version of it, and this will be the next step, the 2.0 version, which will be probably about a 3-hour meeting. But we have several people interested in that business model canvas that I think really applies to all businesses, small and large. So we're looking forward to that, and that is going to be coming up here pretty quick. Actually, now that we're going to be turning the calendar soon, it's going to be Tuesday, May the 25th. And that'll be right here at the Armory. We'll have it down in our mess hall, and we look forward to having some folks join us for that.
Great. Thank you, Greg. So as everybody hears, there's a lot going on, a lot of opportunities for engagement. Once again, we want to make sure we're giving you the programming, the information that you all need. So if there's anything we're not talking about, or events we're not putting on that you'd like to be more engaged in or have more information on, please reach out to us. We'd either like to be able to talk about it on one of these calls, or certainly have a separate educational event or webinar as well. So that wraps up basically everything I wanted to touch on today. I'd like to turn it over to our friend Gary Jones, a regular participant on these calls. We're very grateful for Gary's time to jump on and give us an update about what's happening in the governor's office. So Gary, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Justin. Just got a couple of quick things I want to touch on here this morning. So last week, the governor signed 2 bipartisan state House bills that will update state and city income tax filing and payment deadlines. So House Bill 4569 amends the Uniform City Income Tax Ordinance to extend the April 15th or April 30th city income tax return or payment deadlines, given the IRS's extension of the federal income tax filing or payment deadline. And House Bill 4571 codifies the state income tax deadline from April 15th to May 17th. Also, as a result of the governor's recent request of the federal government to help get more Michiganders vaccinated as quickly as possible, more than 200 federal personnel will be arriving in Michigan this week to assist at 3 mass vaccination sites. Personnel will serve both clinical and non-clinical roles at those sites. And last week, Michigan surpassed 6 million vaccine doses administered, with the most recent 1 million vaccines administered in a record 11 days. To date, 45% of Michiganders have received at least 1 dose, with 30% of Michiganders being fully vaccinated, moving the state closer to its goal of equitably vaccinating at least 70% of Michiganders ages 16 and older as soon as possible. The state has repeatedly hit its daily dose goal of 100,000 shots. And I just wanted to touch on one quick note, because earlier, Justin, I heard you talking about child care, and the governor, back in January, she introduced her executive budget recommendations. And so this is her 3rd executive budget. It's centered on equitably growing the state's economy by expanding skills training and child care for families, providing a further down payment on rebuilding the state's crumbling bridges and water infrastructure, and helping small businesses recover from the pandemic. But one item in there in particular I just did want to highlight on the call this morning is that there is a $370 million proposed budget investment for the expansion of child care options, providing additional supports for Michigan families by temporarily increasing the income eligibility threshold from 150 to 200%, and temporarily waiving out-of-pocket costs or out-of-pocket copays through fiscal year 2022, with a 10% increase in hourly rates for child care providers. And if anyone would like any more information on that, or even other aspects of the budget, because there are several, definitely reach out to me, and we can connect from there.
Very good. Thank you, Gary. Yeah, this child care issue is certainly a major challenge right now. So any and all resources that we can provide to help deal with it, either on the provider side or on the worker side, is greatly appreciated. I'd like to open the floor. As I said, not a very robust agenda today, so I'd like to maybe take a minute or two if anyone has any comments or questions or ideas, either for myself or Gary. Now would be a good time. So if anybody has anything they'd like to share, please hit *6 on your phone. Anybody have any comments or questions? Anything on, anybody on that would like to comment?
Hey, Justin.
Yeah,
Hey, Renee from Oaks Fisher Insurance.
sure.
I don't know
Hey,
if
Renee.
this is pertinent or not, but can you tell us if the Secretary of State office is open now in Owasso?
Oh, good question. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know if anyone else on the call does.
Okay.
Hey, Justin, I do have a contact with the Secretary of State. I can try to find out. I know there's certain services, that are offered. I'm just not sure if like walk-in at this point is an option. You still may have to like go online and do and do an appointment, because of the COVID restrictions. And fun
the
fact,
people, like, what we're finding from our clientele is that they have the appointment and then they go there and it's closed. So, and they're transferring them to the Flint office, and some people don't want to go to Flint. So we're just trying to help navigate this. So I know you have to make an appointment, but those appointments are still in effect for a closed office.
yeah, and yeah, I'm familiar with that process too. Actually, personally, I live in Genesee County. I live in Grand Blanc, and I know we have one that's like right up the street. But these offices do have these appointments obviously fill up really quick. So when it came time to get my son's license a couple of months ago, there was a quicker appointment actually. And Justin, you remember this because I reached out to you and said, "Hey, I'm in your backyard." I was able to get my son's license a few months ago, actually, from getting an appointment in Shiawassee County. So that's one thing I usually do encourage people to do is if locally you're not able to, get an appointment, expeditiously, to expand your search out, just a little bit, even if, you don't want to, say come, east of Shiawassee, maybe somewhere, closer to you, that you would like to go and, be able to get those services that you need quicker. But what I could do, again, is get a more official answer and reach out to my Secretary of State contact for you. Yeah. So, Justin, if you can connect us, email, then I can do follow up on that.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep, already did. Renee, I connected you with Gary by email. So
thank you.
Great. Thank you.
This is Cindy. Hi, this is Cindy Sanders. I also have a question related to that. We live in Shiawassee County, even though I work in Saginaw County. My husband made an appointment to get his license renewed, and his birthday's May 18th, but he can't get an appointment till, mid or end of July. So do the police officers, should he get stopped? Do they look at that they're not open, so that's why it's taking so long? Do you know anything about that? Thank you.
Yeah, if you could send that to me via email too as well, I'll do the same thing. I'll reach out to my Secretary of State, contact about that situation. Try to see if we can get an answer for you.
Thanks, Cindy. I just connected you guys via email as well to follow up with each other. Any other comments or questions for me or for Gary or in general?
Hey, Justin.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is Mike Gillespie.
Hey, Mike.
For the last caller, was that Cindy? Is that her name?
Yeah, Cindy Sanders. Yep.
Okay. Obviously, that I'm a police officer part-time. I was a state trooper for over 20 years. What we've been doing on the road, if they make an appointment, they usually get some notification on their cell phone. Just like their insurance where they show proof on their cell phone, they can show proof that they have an appointment at the Secretary of State's office. And generally what we do is we accept that in as a valid license at the that helps.
Interesting. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for sharing that.
Because we know people can't get into SOS, and it's backed up, and it has been for quite a while. The renewal of registration plates as well as their driver's licenses for special circumstances where they actually have to physically go into SOS. So usually they can change an appointment date and go that way.
Great, thank you. Any other comments or questions from anybody?
Hey, Justin, this is Greg again. Can I update on a couple events?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw this out because this weekend looks like good weather, and it's our first weekend for downtown Owasso Farmers Market. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to get outside and get to some events. So you know that's coming up this weekend, and then I did also want to plug on Sunday, May 23rd is the Chi-Tri event. So I know that was planned for last year, and that's going to be taking place at the going to be New Fitness Coliseum down there where Trust Thermal was. So I just wanted to plug those events because I know if they're still looking for volunteers for the Chi-Tri event for anyone that's interested, and if they are interested, contact me or Brianna Carroll, and we'd be glad to hook you up as a volunteer for that event on Sunday, May 23rd.
Thank you, Greg. I'm actually going to be a participant in the Chi-Tri event, so I'm looking forward to that. Should be interesting. My first triathlon. I'm not swimming down the Shiawassee River, though. It'll be a kayak. So, any other comments or questions from anybody? Okay, well, good discussion here at the end of the call. Once again, I'm going to be sending out it's not really a survey, but if there's any other topics or speakers you'd like to hear from in the future, please let us know. We will have Ben Frederick on the call next week to give a state update. And if anything comes up in the meantime, please give us a holler. Otherwise, hope you all have a great day. Thanks for joining.
Thanks, Justin.